Sweet angel, carry on. All my blessings are yours alone.
Alright, hi guys. Okay, so I know in my video I had said that I got the results and everything looked fine. Well, I got a call from my doctor today. And she said, the nurse, Penny, had said to her that, because she was out, I guess she was out yesterday, so she asked, Janet had her HSG, how did that come out? And, like my doctor said, they don't normally, she's like, our policy is never really to tell. She's like, but I knew that she's like, I knew you wouldn't mind. She's like, because it was more of a, I hope everything came out good. And, of course she said, oh, everything looked good. And Penny said, that just doesn't make sense. And my doctor said, what do you mean? She's like, it's been playing in my head. She's like, when Janet had her DNC, she's like, because it was on her left side, she's like, whenever she was saying she was in so much pain, she's like, and it just didn't make sense to her. Like she said, Janet has a big threshold for pain. She dislocated her hip. So, and, she went through, 5 years of being at a level 6 every day. She's like, so it's not like her to complain about something really hurting. And she's like, and during her DNC, she's like, you remember her saying, this really hurts, this doesn't make sense, because she's like, her first one wasn't that painful. And she said, yeah, I know. She's like, it just, my doctor said, I don't understand. So Penny said, no, the nurse said, can the lab look at it and look for scar tissue? And my doctor said, you know what, yeah, because she's like, it could be that there's a small bit. So my doctor said, she's like, so lo and behold, the lab, the radiologist said, oh, I guess we missed it. It is a teeny tiny little bit of scar tissue up high on my left side. And like my doctor said, she's like, Janet, that was right where, she's like, it's about where we, I believe that we were doing the DNC. She's like, I believe, she's like, your first miscarriage was a bliodopum. She's like, your second miscarriage, she's like, your lining wasn't ready yet. And it couldn't support the pregnancy. She's like, this time, she's like, because it was like, she's like, everything was perfect. She's like, your numbers were textbook perfect, She's like, but I believe it attached to the scar tissue. She's like, which it only can survive so long on that scar tissue, and then that's it. She's like, so that's, so it was a viable pregnancy if it attached somewhere else. And some of you guys are probably like, why do you sound excited and happy? Because I don't feel like a defective machine. We do have some type of answer. Like she said, they could be totally wrong on this with the scar tissue. Like she said, it's not a long shot, she said, but it's, it's a shot. So you guys are probably going to go, well, what's the treatment plan? Well, the treatment plan is, I can't remember the name of it, so I'm going to insert it here. Okay, so it's that. I don't know how to pronounce it, but they basically will take a camera and they put it up into the uterus. And they fill either the uterus with gas or a saline solution, which my doctor said, for me, they would use the saline solution. And she said what they would do is to just kind of do a full analysis. She's like, we check everything. She's like, obviously your tubes are clear. She's like, so we don't need to try to, look at your tubes or anything like that. She's like, because your tubes are perfect. She's like, we'd look at the whole uterus. She's like, and then actually see how much of that scar tissue is really there. She's like, and then we cut it out. And she said, Now, keep in mind, every doctor recommends different things. She said she wouldn't recommend us TTCing for 3 months. Now, when she said that to me, I went, okay, so if we did it next cycle, because they do it at the beginning of your cycle, they don't, well, after your period ends, but they do it between, and it would have to be between cycle day 6 and cycle day 8 is what she said. So there's only like 2 days. So like she said, I would have to call them the day my period started so that way they could schedule it. So I'm like, well, that would mean December. So no December, no January, no February. I'm like, that only leaves the month of March. And like I told my husband, I said, that's putting so much pressure on 1 month to try to get pregnant. And before some of you guys go, well, why are you stopping? My job in the summer, to be very new into pregnancy, is very hard. I did it last year. It was very, very hard. You know, I don't get a lot of sleep and things like that. It's very, very physical, whereas like this time of year, it's pretty easy. Not easy, but it's not as physically demanding. I'm not, you know, lifting and moving heavy things. It's, you know, it's still physical, but not that physical. So yeah, that's a lot of pressure on one cycle. So we've made the decision that if we are not pregnant by April, we'll start doing more research into the procedure. Now, like she said, if I should have another miscarriage, they're just going to do it automatically. And like I told her, I said I would be okay with that, because then obviously it can't be that scar tissue, or why the heck is it, you know, if this is a very favorite spot to implant, then let's remove the scar tissue. So yes, I am very, very happy to find out that it, you know, this could be, like she said, they could be wrong. But yeah, I don't feel like a defective machine anymore. I feel normal, well, as normal as possible. But I feel good about knowing why, possibly why. So yeah, and I asked her, I said, really, I said, there's a couple other people on YouTube that, you know, that have no problems getting pregnant, it's just staying pregnant. And she said, sometimes it is scar tissue. Sometimes it is. And she said, and sometimes it's not. She's like, I didn't tell you about that. I'm like, yeah, you just told me polyps and fibroids, not that scar tissue can play a factor into it. But yeah, she said it's definitely something that's worth trying. Like she said, it could still have been a, you know, just an abnormal pregnancy. But, you know, she said this would explain a lot. So yes, we are both very, very relieved to finally possibly have an answer. It's not an official answer, because like she said, it's so small that it also could be as simple as the angle was funny. Because she said, you don't see it when I'm laying flat, you see it when I tilt, when they have me tilt. So she's like, she's like, you know, she's like, doing the complete workup, she said, would let us know that it is, so, or isn't. But, you know, I said, what about just having it done and not doing the procedure? And she said, she's like, I wouldn't recommend it, because she said, you know, she's like, what we would do, she's like, we'd actually ask you to sign the consent form to perform, you know, the procedure while we're doing, you know, doing it for diagnostics purposes. She's like, so we'd actually ask you to just sign the consent, because she's like, while we're in there, we'd do it. She's like, it's not worth doing this back and forth. She's like, if we found that there's a whole, she's like, if you're somebody that was, like she said, our uterus was littered with fibroids and polyps, she said, yeah, then we would do them in, you know, little sections, because she said sometimes doing it all at one time can be a little much for people. I'm so sorry that I yawned, but it's like 10, oh no, actually it's 11 o'clock. So I just wanted to give you guys that update, and then I will make my Who's New to the TTC vlogging world. So I guess congratulations to all the new BFPs, and to the new mommies, congratulations. And there's been a couple miscarriages in our community, and you know, my heart goes out to you guys. You know who you are. My heart does go out to you. I know how much it sucks, especially considering two of them, this is, you know, not their first time. I believe it's their second or third, and if I'm wrong, I'm so sorry, but I know it's not their first. So yes, my heart goes out to you, and everyone that's still awaiting your BFP, I hope your wait is very short. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.